Okay, I just want to give you additional documentation of what is it's just flip-flops from either wall. The entity is just maintaining engineered light. So on this wall now, the wall where my bed is, opposite the wall where my TV is, so you're familiar with my bedroom where the entity is concentrating engineered light. Pay attention here. This is engineered light, okay? This is impossible light. The blinds are closed, right? The light source is directly above. The sun is above a building, let alone the sun wouldn't remain over the physical address. It's in constant motion, people. That's not the sun. It is, again, what is it, 1:31 p.m.? It was 6:45 in the morning, and it is 1:30 p.m. It's the P.O.C. This is engineered light. This is engineered light. And I want you to see as I move in front of closed blinds, where there is no sun that's aiming a trajectory of light like a laser through the window. The sun is above us, not hovering beside a window on the third floor either. In addition to that, the light source isn't even visible. None of those, by the way, would be any explanation for what I'm saying. I'm just breaking down in like comprehensively how it is entirely impossible. And so you know exactly what Beacon was doing, what Star Construction is doing, what Speaker Companies is doing, while those third-party group stalkers, including those company names, are documented as a matter of fact. This is the prima facie case for what they're doing, and they're doing it in concert with the Los Angeles Police Department. It's also what the Los Angeles Police Department is doing in concert with them. And I want to be clear, it is also the outward demonstration of their demon possession, the malice with which they act, all right? This is that secret society that's engaging in what is a criminal system of monitoring, and these are the means by which they do it. And I have continuously captured just today, February 28, 2024, on ongoing examples of what is absolutely nothing other than phenomenons. All right, as I'm moving, and what you'll see is I'm moving my body across these blinds, and I'll show you the light, how it moves around. This is the light moving around as I'm just moving my arms. This is impossible light activity. This is what the company named Beacon. So I'm gonna let you know what Beacon is. Beacon is a third-party group stalker. The people of the state utilize company names to engage in the state's criminal system. Star Construction, the third parties who were on the roof this morning, as I showed you the light source, as I showed you the impossible light that surrounded them while they appear to be working on a roof. That appearance to be working on the roof is analytically prosecuted as what is relevant position and light activity and audible activity creation. They're monitoring. And they were just documented monitoring with the Los Angeles Police Department, grounds of federal prison. Andrew Abraham, his green business card and his license plate is published already. The license plate of this Ford truck. The entity is engaging in what is present, and Carlo Lopez, the blue Kia, he's an employee. There's no mystery. None of them are going to be a mystery, by the way. But with regard to my own document, my own due diligence in identifying those that I will be prosecuting, and see that you are going to, of course, when you're prosecuting the people of the state. And when you're prosecuting the state itself that's acting via corrupt law enforcement agencies, such as the Los Angeles Police Department, the specific environment that they're in and the engagement in the criminal elements. And while the Los Angeles Police Department, is providing evidence against the people, that's evidence against them. And what they're doing, it's used against the state. And they're all in the specific environment. It is the outward demonstration of their condition. The demon possessed are flying helicopters, and they are bearing badges that represent the Los Angeles Police Department. And the world needs to know that. The Los Angeles Police Department are corrupt criminals, and they are literally domestic enemies, and they are engaging in what is the corruption of literally the public. That's why multiple grounds of removal. Okay. This is a threat that they pose, and it is an ongoing emergency. I happen to be a target individual who knows what they are doing, and I can break it down. I can dissect it for you, but I want to be clear. The threat is no less. The emergency is no less because of my ability to do that. There has to be someone that's able to advocate and speak out about what the entity is doing. But I would be remiss if I did not state unequivocally that the threat and the emergency, the threat to my life and physical safety and liberty is no less because of my ability to articulate what the enemy or what the demonic forces are engaged in while they use people to execute a criminal act. It's a criminal act, an unprecedented one, but believe me, it is satanic in every regard. And so you have, again, what I'm speaking to, the unpersuasive. The unpersuasive outward guise of what's supposed to be normalcy. This person's not talking and then called back because he called him back. This person is pacing. They're an engineered light. They're under a light source that remains over the property. You're understanding what is malice. They are monitoring together. The entity is doing so while they're moving their car. Engineered light is moving across that car. That's a demon, and they engage in the pattern of crossing path with simultaneity of light moving. That is the mark of demon possession as well. The mark of demon possession you are also witnessing while the entity covers the venue, covers the property with impossible light activity. That's why it's there, because they're monitoring and they're also the demon possessed. The Los Angeles Police Department is maintaining ongoing obsession obsessive presence here, stalking in the unfathomable method of using a helicopter. You are going to it is with much importance that you approach that department. The threat that they pose is like unfathomable. You will disarm them. They are a threat to the public. They are dangerous psychopaths, and I am not exaggerating. I have the ability to let you know what they're doing, and I don't have to make it up. I don't have to make anything up. Okay? I don't have to make anything up whatsoever. This is not sunlight. This is a phenomenon. This is a pattern, though. While the demon-possessed group stalkers, criminal monitors in concert with the state, doing it with the police department, are outwardly engaging in the malice. That's the people of the state. The people of the state represent the malice. And that's why what the police department does is directly incriminating the people of the state. And they are going to suffer dearly behind federal policy. You will sit in time. There will be no negotiation out of time in federal prison. You're not negotiating. There will be no non-disclosure agreements with companies that are going to be prosecuted civilly and criminally and want to avoid the public attention for them being identified as those that are a terrorist. They're domestic terrorists with the corrupt government. All right. You're not going to sign any NDAs. It's a matter of justice because this isn't something you can negotiate yourself out of. All right. It's not about getting a paycheck. It's about informing the people about what is going on in the world. This is a violation of people's human rights. Okay. And it is a matter of what is terrorism. So I want to be clear, but for my ability to, and as egregious as what the Los Angeles Police Department is doing now, I want to be clear, there has been a time where the entity is convinced that it's going to get away with what it is doing, where it is convinced that no one is listening to you, no one will believe you, no one will be on your side. And you're talking about absolute outright violence. I want you to pay attention to that light activity because it's a demonstration of what are demons. They tell on themselves, okay? They tell on themselves. All I'm doing is capturing the video for you. And I want you to see the multiple shadows, okay? No sunlight would do that, all right? But I want to be clear, where they think that they're getting away with it, and I've documented it with previous law, and Los Angeles Police Department is demonstrating it as well. Outwardly just stalking, and you are seen as a stalker. You don't look like anything else when I'm documenting time after time after time after time after time. What are you doing in this area? And this area happens to be where a phenomenon is present. What are you doing in this area, which is so unique? That in and of itself is probable cause, I want to be clear, for federal group stalking and monitoring. The entity has in every way failed and has proceeded on so many false premises upon which federal group stalking and monitoring will be identified and prosecuted. Okay, but I want to be clear. The threat exists in that the entity, the ordinary targeted individual, is faced with the prospects of people just invading their private space and coming in and kidnapping them and then making up some narrative about why they took the targeted individual, what's wrong with the targeted individual, where they put the targeted individual, making up information, in the courts, by utilizing the quote unquote justice system that is corrupt. The same entity at those courthouses and those sheriff's departments and those police departments, it's the same specific venue, the same phenomenon. And this is a matter of documentation. I want to be clear. The emergency exists. It exists. The ongoing threat to the life, it remains. And that is speaking to why you have Carlo Lopez, who's going to federal prison. And I don't care how old the third party group stalker is. I don't care if they're on a cane. I don't care if they have one eye. You are looking at what is malice and what is in no way any competition to the American citizen who is subject to a government that is targeting them, stalking in helicopters. And they call themselves police. And this is not unique to the LAPD. This is a pattern of conduct. I can count on more than one hand the police departments engaging in the same exact stalking behavior in the specific environment. It's unique. And it is clearly the pattern of conduct. That's what they're doing. And then what is these demons that are hostile? I'm going to call them exactly what they are. I've shown you what is the evidence. I've shown you what is the phenomenon that is irreconcilable with nature. Okay, with what NASA will tell you about what sunlight does and what the sun is and where the sun would absolutely not be and what is not going to happen in the shade. Okay, it's just not going to happen. While you are looking at a police department flying over, and I'm telling you how they continuously fly over, and I'm telling you how this is not the only police department that engages in following and remaining where I am in that manner, in the same exact phenomenon, a very unique environment, which is totally out of conformity with the operation of the natural environment. It is understanding what is the demonic. Okay, Exhibit A demon possessed on a cane in relevant position creating light activity. And this is surrounding on the opposite side creating light activity. That's P.O.C. And I don't care whether they're on a to do away with those that are engaging in this criminal system. And I want to be clear, a malicious entity relies on some outward guise of vulnerability, of innocence. Oh, they're on a cane. That couldn't possibly. No, you're talking about what is the demonic. And I want to be clear, those on a cane, those wearing an eye patch, those claiming to have some sort of handicap, I have documented and I have witnessed the exact same demonic behavioral pattern. So when you are dealing with the demonic, you're dealing with something that is invisible. It's a spirit. Okay. Do not be in any way disguised by the outward veneer. In the same way, you are not going to be fooled by what is the illusion. Okay, that's how you know that that's not the sun that's remaining over Alvarado Gardens specifically. You also know that that's not the sun that would in any way manifest this sort of light. And you see this day in and day out as I continuously show you different iterations of the same pattern. It's called stalking with light. While you see a third-party group stalker on a cane, I don't care what equipment they're using. They could be in a wheelchair. They will find their physically handicapped self in a federal cell. And that's how you must treat this. Okay, it is currently 1:41 p.m. These are the ons. Their apartment, but they're just group stalking. They live at a crime scene. So when they are doing so with the police, like I just documented all of them, they're all going to federal prison. All of them. All of those third-party group stalkers using their company name, you're going to drain the pockets. You are going to expose them publicly, what they are doing to American citizens and the entirely demented environment that they're doing. It's called terrorism. By the people of the state, they want to use their company names. You're going to expose those companies. They want to be in this country and make money off of the American people while targeting them and terrorizing them, group stalking them. Group stalking is a system that was never intended to ever be exposed, by the way. It's entirely malicious. The entity that is engaging in group stalking and monitoring, this is 1818 number 2 group stalking, Abigail Peck. Engaging in group stalking and monitoring a target individual whom they intend to, in every regard, do away with, to discard them from society. I want to be clear. They're not just group stalking and targeting for no reason. They have a nefarious conclusion in mind, all right? When they did it to me, they did not anticipate that I am going to be the one that will expose them and prosecute them to the fullest extent of federal law. Okay. And I want to be clear, in disarming an entity that acts so maliciously and wicked toward innocent American citizens, because I can only focus on America. We're in this country. We are bound by the Constitution. There are implications, however, that speak to the rest of the world. Again, one sun. All right. Not sunlight. All right. Behavioral patterns. This is speaking to wherever you are and whatever you're surrounded with. It's the ability and empowering you with the information that you need to know in your everyday life, to be honest with you. But with regard to a criminal act in America, like I said before, there are laws that outlaw and laws that shall be created to do away with an entity. This is a public entity. And I want to be clear, Alvarado Gardens is the vicarious arm of that public entity. Abigail Peckman is not an individual. Abigail Peckman is the vicarious actor of the state. She is living here as the state. Everything she says, she speaks as the state, because you're in the shoes of the state where the venue is attached. Where the venue was established, You're not here under operating any constitutional right whatsoever. So Beacon Companies is here in the shoes of the government, participating in and facilitating the state's criminal system of federal group stalking and monitoring, duly noted for purposes of civil and criminal prosecution. Duly noted. It is currently 1:44 p.m. and I just wanted to gather extra video so that you can see the phenomenon that surrounds me while the Los Angeles Police Department continue. And with knowing malice, okay, that speaks to malice. That speaks to a dangerous psychopath. And you cannot remove their badges soon enough because they know that they're being documented in addition to that. And by the way, the fact that the psychopath continues to engage in the pattern of conduct, the unmistakable pattern of conduct, it's not any evidence that's suggesting it's otherwise. Like I said, this whole system was built on false premises, and every single last one, I am destroying them, because I also, not only am I serving to expose and prosecute, I want you to understand evil and the face of evil. Okay. So it is currently 1:44 p.m. and this is POC.